I don't think there's one family that doesn't have either an immediate or one step away connection to somebody who has a mental health issue.
When you think of the fact that 1 in 4 Islanders has needed the services, that's extraordinary.
That's a staggering number. I think if you really want to see the power of a charity, just look to MVCS. They cover populations from infants all the way through the elderly. It's remarkable what they do.
A lot of people in their circumstances that they're currently in, they may not have been there a year ago. You never know what the future holds.
I do carpentry work here on the island. My history with the community service started when I had Guillain-Barré syndrome. I got paralyzed. I went to the hospital, stayed in the hospital for 3 months. I was in need of physical therapy and got depression because I couldn't work. My wife needed to do everything at home. It was really she had 2 babies at home.
A guidance counselor kind of pulled me aside. They saw my grades were suffering. I wasn't showing up to class, and then they sent me immediately to a detox because I was addicted to prescription pills and I was addicted to just drinking.
For any parent that's had a child with mental health addiction issues, it's terrifying. I couldn't get my son clean, so I knew it was going to have to be somebody else, and to have that somebody else be on this island, right down the street, I mean that's life-changing.
People come to us when they are in grave need. They're often in emergency situations. They require urgent mental health. There are times of their lives that they feel particularly vulnerable.
My husband wanted to deny. He didn't want the public to know how bad it was because he was failing. He had, in addition to the pancreatic cancer, he had rheumatoid arthritis. He was having kidney failure. So people are saying to me, "Oh, Irene, you having a fabulous summer on the vineyard?" And I'm not. I'm with this very sick man.
So from the community service, I got a therapy, counselor, psychologist. They also helped me with deal with my bills. I'm very, very thankful for they have this service on the island.
They released him to an outpatient program called New Paths. It was a moment for us. So we went from holy crap to
a feeling of gratitude that I can wake up and be sober. I've been sober 10 years now. The ability to show up for my son is the greatest joy.
So here I am all by myself, seeing the reality of the situation and not being able to talk about it. So I finally went to my first meeting, and community services offered this sharing, which was really wonderful.
Whether it has to do with education or if it has to do rehabilitative services, if it has to do, unfortunately, with issues related to domestic violence, they are there to help.
How much, gender-based violence is happening in your community is every day.
The premise behind the program is that gender-based violence is not just a women's issue, but it's a human issue. So the program is really geared towards educating young men on the myths and repercussions of gender-based violence.
Do a lot of work with youth communities, mostly sports, and locker room talks, one of the biggest issues.
I think SWEAR is a place where you can learn the skills as a man to be able to be an active bystander and to stand for what you believe is right.
Well, it started with a counselor. He helped me into a program called Daybreak. Spending time at Daybreak, I began to thrive. The craft studies we did helped me to see my way into a whole creative world. Getting to a new level with our life can add to the community. That's my inspiration.
The designation of community services as a community behavioral health center means that there'll be ready access to anyone who requires mental health care. And it's really important that the space where services are delivered are dignified, respectful, private. We've already invested in the early childhood center that's been transformative. And so now we look to the future.
We need to make sure that things are safe, that the roofs are not leaking, that the air circulation is healthy.
Our campus is dilapidated, it is old, it floods.
The sophistication of the services that we provide require a better home.
One of the things that we as part of the capital campaign are trying to do is create a new space where it reflects that we do respect everybody who walks through that door.
What we build will be there for a generation, and it will take care of Islanders for the next generation.
We need to invest in it because it's for us, because we will need it at some point, or somebody close to us will need it at some point, and we're going to be grateful that it exists.
The people talk to me about their situations, and I can see that they're troubled. You should go. These services.